I'd like to have something to put down over here. This is one of the... It's actually not flat enough.
What do you need? Just something
A couple books. Maybe about an inch, half an inch.
Somebody sweat his blood to make those bricks. And you only want to know that they're an inch. You know, you just want
anything. I don't care about the subject.
That's the book.
So there's a little text.
And each person attending the show tonight gets a copy of the book.
That's right.
For how many hundred, but
It's going to sell for around 7,500.
7,500.
For the next two, and then it's going up from there, because every time the longer it took to make this, the higher the price kept going.
Is it okay if I don't buy one?
Yes.
opposed to you on my list. I thought you would get one.
Anyway, that's the course of the canal, which I meant to actually put up on the...
Well, we have, you heard that. We have number one.
There's a lot of glare.
And that is number one comes to
I'm just the right height.
so he could go. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to.
Please.
So I worked with Erica Kraft, who was a former student. From some state, not you directly, but Michelle Reynolds, yes. And this is a traditional Chinese stitch, combination with a Coptic stitch. Yeah. Yes.
Who, as far as I'm concerned, knows all.
Yeah. No kidding.
Making,
Yeah.
yep.
These are the pictures that we saw. I couldn't make out this guy sitting there. I thought it was just that leg coming out from somebody dancing or something. Makes more sense.
Projected images are always a challenge. That's mine too.
No, I don't think we will. You're getting a book? Well, we have. Who did the binding for you?
Erica Kraft. I acknowledge her in the back of the book. She's a student from San Diego State, a former student of mine in photography, but she also took bookmaking. And she's never attempted something quite this large. So one of the things we have to engineer differently is the weight of the lid, of the cover. It pulls on the signatures, so...
I was kind of wondering, I'm the same way you bring your book.
You said these are to
No, yeah, you're right. So
One
you
thing
have
I
an essay in there?
yeah, just I think it's 5 paragraphs. It took me a month to write, so don't ask me to write another one.
I understand that.
The location is in red.
I know, it is.
See, there's all this stuff going on down here.
Yeah.
So big prints of these will really show off well, I think.
You were invited by
It's an international photography festival. Yes, but it's a roving style
feast.
yeah, and it goes to different cities. But they take over a whole city, and tens of thousands of people come, and it's a giant event.
Did they finance it or did you finance yourself?
Partially. While I was there, everything was covered. I had to make my own way over.
You had total freedom to do what you wanted.
Whenever they get critical mass.
Apparently, I didn't photograph anything that anybody cared about.
It's something. Philip, up here. Philip. This was something else.
21.
I kept thinking of your shipyard black and white.
Yeah. That has a similar level of detail and information. But that was also one of the... Thank you for that question, because I meant to say that's why I'm working in color too, just to bring back more information. The color of the air, and all of those things. And the drabness of these things.
But what happens is that when you do see a spot of color, your eye goes right to it.
Yeah.
Like this one. This is just so amazing. But you know, the sky almost becomes 19th century.
Yeah, right. The Feliz Beato show that becoming one of my
So
favorites.
this is great, Philip. So the red spot is where this photo
That's right.
is. That's
Yeah.
great.
And I wanted an unfettered, unobstructed view of the photograph once you get to it, so it's all cluttered up with type. Yes. You know, this is one of those moments I could see her out of the corner of my eye, and I was working my way over, and I was thinking, please don't leave, please don't leave. And she's looking right at me, and I'm taking photographs and working, and then I go over to her, and she looks up, and I take the photograph, and then she left.
Oh, she was waiting for you. You weren't waiting for her.
Maybe. But you know, there's a satellite dish parked right there. There's all this information in these.
This is just wonderful.
I meant to bring a fresh pair of gloves. And it's one of those, I hope you get this from, it's one of those hazy, glaring days, you know? It hurts to keep your eyes open, especially.
Well, they know you'll get burned.
Yeah, oh yeah. I got
Crisped on that.
on the barge. Forgotten to bring sunscreen, and so I thought I'd just hang out in the overhang. But there was so much coming from the water, I was just lobster red.
Your entire trip, do you just shoot, and never download?
Oh no, every day. Every day.
Download.
Yeah, I have a computer with me and multiple hard drives. And towards the end, I got a little paranoid. And
Even
I
external hard drives?
Yes. And I had multiple hard drives backing things up in different pieces of luggage in between the lids, just because I had no idea what was going to happen.
How many trips?
3 of which 2 were photographic. A little over, right around a month the first time, and then over a month the second time. Here, like, what passes for a seat is just a piece of foam. You know, the backing is gone. It's just the frame. There's oil dripping from it. There's a brick underneath the tire, so you know the brakes are gone. You know? I mean, these are hard-working. Get the last drop of utility out.
India, you see the same.
Yeah.
And Thailand, you see some of this.
Here you can see the infusion drip.
What is an infusion drip?
Well, it's
What is it again?
something to give the tree a little boost when they just transplanted it. This color is just,
Yeah.
and actually some of it is toned down. I've tried to desaturate it. Schöner Vergleich, no?
The bronze statuary is
Yeah.
a monk?
No, it's one of the emperors.
Oh, okay.
The past is.
Philip, was he posing for you? Was he aware you were taking the
they were
shot
just
at all?
they were just there.
He looks like he's posing.
These guys are posing for him.
Exactly. Well, they're always posing. That's the problem.
Well, what was interesting, and Arthur knows this about me, that I don't tend to photograph strangers without permission. But again, I can't blend in, right? So people are watching me. I'm setting up my camera. I'm sweeping across to see what I'm going to photograph. They're not moving.
Right, it's implicit.
They're fair game. You know, that gives me permission to photograph. I'm not like Cartier-Bresson and Lartigue and a lot of others who have somehow have permission to take your photograph whether you like it or not and just move on. And I just never have felt that way. But here it was a great relief to me to be able to photograph, and it was a tacit agreement.
Did anybody object?
No. I think one guy objected, he was with his kids, and he just sort of waved off, and then I didn't photograph. I did. After some of those downpours, there was a day or two, about a day.
light sources.
And who would put those two colors together? They make your eyes go nuts. Your retina can't resolve those two colors right next to each other, so it just vibrates. Yeah. No, it was bizarre, but so traditional at the same time.
About getting permission to photograph somebody. Gary Winogrand, who was famous for being abusive, to photograph whoever, whether he wanted it or not.
Right.
The story is told.
Some people are just so much more thick-skinned. You know?
It's a fake tree.
Yes, these are LED trees. There's nothing natural about them.
Such a creep.
Yeah.
So what did Winogrand say?
Well, Winogrand was photographing in Central Park, and he found the woman on a bench, and he was intrigued, so he starts photographing really close to her, and she says, "Get out of here, you can't take my picture. I don't want you to have my picture." I said, "Your picture? This is my picture."
I should do that. What do you mean your picture? You can buy it from me. These guys were so beautifully lit. It was like having them come in and sit for me in the studio, you know? Of course, there was just light just flooding the place. But mostly I just tried to get out of the way of these guys with these, 120 pounds of flopping fish.
You do your own color printing?
Yes. I think printing is such a personal thing, and just handing a file off to somebody and hoping that it comes back the way you want it, it's just too much of a roll of the dice for me.
Printer.
It is a big printer. Yeah.
I like this one.
What lens were you using mostly?
It was a 2470 L.
Dogs.
Yeah, I took a bunch of stuff with me, and that's what I ended up doing 90% of it. This is layered exposure-wise too, so there's 3 layers of different exposures, so I can get highlight detail and shadow detail, plus going across. This one coming out of the program, it was about 40 gigabytes. It was touched.
Do you just use Photoshop, or is there a different application for the stitching?
Three programs for it.
Which ones do you use?
PTGUI is the panorama program, and then depending on the files, I'll use different raw converters to get the files, and then stitch them together, and then work in Photoshop to do the rest, the fine-tuning.
It's the same on the rock.
So where's Erica?
If you throw 30 million.
I forgot to take these off. Sorry about that. Prototype. It was just to keep this in place while we were stitching it together. Don't photograph the tape. Well, anyway, that's...
Got a filter for that.
So that's it.
Can I take one picture with you with your book?
Okay. Isn't that fun? So I was looking for a material that would be a synthesis of maybe something that comes like pearl or handmade or water or silk. But it's polyester. So it had all the conversations.